Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe. I'm a sales and marketing coach and strategist for health coaches, life coaches, and wellness professionals who want to become a leader in their field by building their online community, rocking their sales process, and finally feeling confident about how they promote themselves and their marketing. On this show, we talk about tips to grow your business, save yourself time, and finally be able to create a sustainable, profitable business. Let's get into it. Good news, I have a new free gift for you, and it is my 4 Basics of Client Attraction replay that I'll be leaving up for June. So if you go to haileyrowe.kartra, that's KARTRA.com/page/4, like the number 4, basics, you will be able to get my 4 basics of client attraction training, or you can just DM me on Instagram at Hailey_Rowe with the words 4 basics, and I will send you the training. But before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know that that training is going to teach you what to be focused on in your coaching business to get your next clients. And it simplifies marketing by helping you determine what are the 4 steps that you can use on any platform or locally to get started with booking clients. So I hope it's super useful for you. I can't wait to hear how it goes for you, and I'll talk to you soon. What's going on? We're going to talk today about how to juggle growing your coaching business while managing a full-time job, or full-time momming or dadding if you are a parent. Because I work with a lot of health and life coaches who are wanting to transition to their coaching business, but they're really struggling because there's only so much time in the day. And starting a business, as you all know, is a huge learning curve. There's a lot of things you have to learn and then go do and then keep doing. And so all phases of that is a process, right? So how many of you can relate to feeling low on time sometimes? Go ahead and comment me in the comments if you're watching this live. And what I want to tell you is that you are not alone and it can be done. And one of the things I highly suggest before we get into the tips for today is to look for the examples of people doing it. There's so many examples of moms, of, people who grew their business on the side, on the weekends, while they're working their day job. I definitely was one of those examples. I was somebody who had many side jobs during growing my business. I wouldn't say I had only one full-time job. I had kind of like 5 half jobs. And it all was very exhausting because I would be switching from one thing where I have to use my creative hat, and then another job where I have to use my, I'm training someone physically and at the gym or whatever. And so it was just like a lot of things going on. And I had no choice but to get really good at managing myself. And I feel like that's half the battle of growing your own business, is learning how to manage yourself and be your own boss and set a deadline and set a timeline for yourself. And so we're going to talk about that today. So the first thing is, I want to let you know that if you feel like you're falling into that I'll do it tomorrow thing, or like you're constantly just putting off your business because you just run out of time, quote unquote, I want to let you know that if your dreams are urgent to you, you gotta honor that with yourself, and you have to learn how to time batch, how to stop just being somebody who says time gets in the way, etc. So let's get into the tips. And if you want to share yours too in the chat, you can. But the first thing has to do with overthinking and mental drama, because what I see a lot of people doing is half the time in their business, they're spending like overthinking their post, reading it 12 million different times, and each time thinking about what people are going to think of them before they post it, focusing on the minors. So what I mean by that is like reading a blog or worrying a lot about like some small Instagram algorithm change that doesn't even apply to them because they've never even posted yet, or they haven't been consistent yet with even the basics. And so I want to let you know that if you find yourself falling into some of the things that are non-essentials to grow your business. You have to stop overthinking. You don't have the luxury of, just like trying to like overthinking and analysis paralysis. Your job is to get really good at deciding what results are you going to produce today? What are you going to do to move you closer to getting that next client, that next sale, building that next relationship with your next choice, and not overthinking the whole process and trying to do 12 things at once. So if you're part of what you're doing that's holding you back in your business from getting things actually accomplished and done is that you want things to be perfect, or you have imposter syndrome, or you're overthinking and the mindset drama is holding you back, I want to encourage you to, number one, watch my previous live about imposter syndrome because that will help. But number two, we're going to talk about how to like work yourself through those mindset problems in an upcoming training I have in May. So if you're not already on my email list, you can join that at haileyrowe.com. But that's really important. So if you are, next time you catch yourself, just remind yourself that you don't have the luxury of time to worry about that. And your job is to produce results, and ask yourself by the end of today, what do I want to have accomplished? Not just an activity like a post, for example, but how many relationships do I want to build today? Or how many people do I want to connect with today? Or what could I do to appear in front of my ideal clients today? So sometimes the second step, the second thing I want to talk about, which kind of what we're talking about leads me to that, is getting yourself, because you have limited time. Once again, you don't have time to research and piece together information from the internet and Google different things. Like, you kind of, yes, you're going to have to do some research and plan that in your day as you're trying to overcome your learning curve. But my suggestion to you is to get a proven, customizable plan and or a coach, or both together, which is what the Zero to Hero Coach Inner Circle is, to help you get focused on the client generating activities instead of busy work. So if you guys saw my training in February where I talked about the pre-offers concept to help you build clients and how to use your post strategically to engage with people and not just be generic, those are the kinds of things I'm talking about when I talk about client building activities. If you find yourself not sure what to prioritize, or you don't know what client generating activities are, you can go ahead and comment in the comments and I can help you with that. But what I want to let you know as well is, if you are finding yourself kind of switching from things before you fully finish them, like one thing I work on with my clients is we decide 1 to 2 platforms to focus on, and we decide what is their client, like taking a stranger to somebody who's on a discovery call to somebody who's a client. What is that process for them? So if you're getting stuck, ask yourself, what could be my first process of taking a stranger to a discovery call to a client? And for many clients, that looks, for in my program, that looks like they do, for example, LinkedIn lead generation and are giving value on LinkedIn, connecting with people on LinkedIn, offering lunch and learns or something if they're doing corporate wellness, or connecting with people on LinkedIn and giving some value up front with their pre-offer, and then building that relationship and seeing if they want to go deeper and hop on a discovery call. And then their discovery call process is something I teach as well, and et cetera, et cetera. Or I have another client who, it's not about how much you do. It's not about being on all the platforms all the time, doing all the things. I have one client who's really, really just focused on his email list, and he keeps refining his launch. And each time he does it, he adds, new components or tweaks things and learns from the last launch, so that each time he's just taking massive action, meaning he's just continuing to refine and improve until he gets the exact launch numbers he wants. And he's really, with that process, every single time he books clients in his group program, it continues to grow, and he's just refining his process. He's not overwhelmed with 12 different things. So this can be possible for you. It's just you have to decide. And this is the other thing. A lot of you are wearing yourselves down by not making a decision on anything. You're deciding to half do Instagram, half do Facebook, half, send some emails, and all of that stuff
is important because it is like a puzzle. It's like a ecosystem of marketing, but you have to start somewhere and like crush it and start to really stick to it and honor your plan compared to just doing dabbling, what we call dabbling, because then you get defeated really quickly and then you stop doing the things and then nothing happens, right? So really, really important to consciously decide what is going to be your process from taking a cold lead to an interested discovery call, and offering value up front. And what's that going to look like for you? And then do it, see the feedback, learn from what's happening with it, refine it, and keep doing that until it gets you your first or next client. So that's important. And then the last thing is time batching like a champ. So actually last two things, I think, right? Let's see here. Yeah, last two things. I have two more tips. So this is the third tip, time batch like a champ. So with time batching, so I'm not going to go into every single detail of time batching because I've already done that on the time batching podcast. So it's haileyrowe.com/time-batching. But what I want to challenge you to do this week is to give yourself a time audit using that Toggle app I always talk about, TOGGL, and look at by the end of the week, where is your energy going and what results came from that energy. So if you spent 12 hours on content for the week and you noticed that you only had, one person engage with you and no people reach out for a discovery call and no people sign up for your pre-offer, you have to understand that that is a long-term strategy that's building trust, that's building interest, but it's not the best use of your time while you're juggling a full-time job. Like, you might want to still post, but do it 3 times a week instead of 5 times a week, and then channel the rest of your energy into welcoming your followers when they follow you and making them feel welcome and building relationships and offering your pre-offer of value to people in your calls to action. So being more strategic with your content, but also connecting with people and, offering your pre-offer directly, or being on a podcast and offering your pre-offer or whatever. Like, we have to figure out what's going to work better for you if the results you're getting after a fair amount of giving it a test is showing it's not producing results. So that would be what you can learn from doing a time audit on yourself, is like, wow, I'm wasting a lot of time on content, and part of it's writing the content, but then part of it's stressing about what the graphic's going to look like, and then part of it is trying to learn how to do Instagram reels and all the things. And that's okay. Like, it is a process you have to go through. You can't just skip steps and be an amazing content creator. You kind of have to learn through going through it. But you want to accelerate your learning and accelerate what you can do better, what's not working, how can I improve this for next week, how can I either drop this task, delete this, like delegate this task, get support and a proven template or process or thing with this task that's going to make it easier, that kind of thing. And that's why when I work with clients, I try to give them as many things as possible to take the load off of them as far as having to create things from scratch, like emails, social media posts, what they should even be spending their time on. I have like a business growth habits tracker they can use to help them get focused on the client generating activities, that kind of stuff. So you got to do that for yourself too. Like, where can you create systems so that next week, the thing that you spent 12 hours on this week doesn't take you 12 hours every week. And you can always be kind of using it as a game with yourself to try to produce in a time you give yourself, and find ways, like open your brain up to finding ways to produce at a higher level, more efficiently, with less mental drama and with more systems and, that kind of thing. Now, the other thing is, when you do decide to learn from your time on it and start time batching for a new week, like knowing how long things actually take you for content or for discovery calls or things like that, you want to plan it into your schedule realistically. So where is it going to fit? And you want to honor your plan in the time that you've given yourself for a task. This is the most challenging thing for new business owners, because we want to perfect it. We want to spend more time on everything. And we tend to never put something out there, or we drag out our time to do something, and then it gets in the way of doing the other things we had on our plan, or we prioritize it in the wrong order, and then we don't actually get to the client generating activities that matter, or whatever it is for you that gets in the way. So my suggestion is to plan, what are your client generating activities? Put those in the calendar first. Honor your calendar for the time you've given yourself for those things. And in the beginning, when you're trying to learn how long things take you and how much time to give yourself for things, give yourself a little extra time for that thing. Like ideally, you will have, more time, buffer time, extra time to finish the thing compared to overestimating what you can do and then not delivering on your plan, not honoring your commitment to yourself, and then kind of feeling defeated because you're not honoring your commitment. I would much rather you give yourself that buffer time and then prove to yourself, wow, I can follow a plan. I finished this within this time frame. I know how long it takes. Now I can start to improve how much time I give myself, than to over plan, feel all over the place, be, taking one time block and that's cutting into another time block, and then realizing, oh, whoops, I'm a failure. This doesn't work, and giving up. So I want you to challenge yourself, and I want you to know, like, get out of giving yourself so much time that you're going to be overthinking everything and all of that. But I also want you to be realistic with yourself, because this skill of honoring your calendar, honoring your commitment to yourself, honoring how long you gave yourself to do something and doing it within that time frame and creating a result from it is like the best confidence booster in the world. And it will help you as a business owner know yourself, know, what processes need to be made, etc. Now, the last thing is you have to understand that what you do is important, but also who you are being when you are working in your side hustle business is also important. Because I have had a lot of people come to me on calls, like discovery calls, and they tell me that they have been doing all the things. I post, I do a local networking group, I do some workshops, I have a course, and blah, blah, blah. But the energy behind it is like frantic, scarce. I'm rushing. People wouldn't want to hear from me. I'm a burden. People probably won't pay for this. This is probably never going to work. This has taken me so long. I feel entitled to clients right now and I don't have any. All of these thoughts that behind what they're doing, the energy behind it is like deflating the balloon of the action. It's just like, okay, well, if you think in the back of your mind that nobody's actually going to want this, or nobody's actually going to pay attention to this live, or whatever it is, then you've defeated yourself before you've even done it, because your energy does come across, especially in your copywriting. Like I've seen coaches who I can tell they're not sold on their own offer, because in their writing on their posts and stuff, it's like, if you maybe want to connect and I can help you with, some of these things. And it's like, really like, whoa, like what, like, do you believe in this? Are you sold on this? Because I'm not sold if you're not sold. Right. So that is something that is going to, it's not just what you're putting out and what you're producing. It's also who are you being behind what you're doing? How are you showing up in a way that says, I know I'm transitioning out of my full-time day job and going into this business, and I know it's just a matter of time, and I know it's about my next choice, and I know that I can serve people, and I'm so excited, and people want to buy, and people love coaching and all the things. And that belief system will change how you write, how you show up in your lives, and all of that. So the other thing you have to stop doing too behind the scenes when it comes to, you producing action, is beating yourself up for the action. So let's say you do put out posts, or you do start to connect with your ideal clients and stuff, but it's not producing results yet. You can't give up on yourself before you can't just like have this attitude of, well, okay, it's not working, so I feel sorry for myself, so I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to do it out of feeling sorry for myself, because that won't work either. So your job is to be not only a schedule ninja and a time batching ninja, but also someone who is always leading from feelings of confidence, conviction, service, and, motivation, not defeat. It's not working, etc. And also, it will come across if you start having resentment, because you'll just be like, oh, I just want to do the post and check it off the list. And the post probably won't be very good, right? So I've definitely fallen into that on my business journey. Like, there was a time when I would just be like, oh, I got to post today, and just dread it and just write something and not really be thinking about my ideal client or what they need to hear today, but just thinking about checking it off the list. And it's okay. Sometimes you are going to get in a rut. Sometimes you are going to have those days, but checking yourself before it becomes behind all of your actions, because it's almost better to slow down and take a break and get yourself back into a mental state of, I want to serve, I'm, ready for this, to juice up how your message comes across, how your posts come across, how you're showing up, who you are embodying, compared to just checking it off the list to check it off the list, and your energy behind it is super poor, right? So if you're struggling with juggling the hours in the day and your full-time job and your business, and you want to know, you want a streamlined process, you want step-by-step guidance, you want someone to ask, hey, what should I do with X, Y, and Z, instead of kind of sitting with it for a week and then like feeling like time has passed and nothing has happened. I would encourage you to, number one, join me for my free training in May. I'm going to be doing another workshop, and it's going to be teaching the 4 basics of client attraction. So it will help you have guidance on what the heck you should be doing. And number two, I would encourage you to listen to the time batching podcast that I just mentioned, HaileyRowe.com/time-batching. And number three, if you're really serious about this and you're like, I'm not messing around, I don't have the time to mess around, I want to grow this business, I would encourage you to jump on a free strategy consult with me. You can go to HaileyRowe.com/call, and we can talk about your goals. We can talk about what you want to be doing with your business and help you learn what to prioritize, how to use my FAST framework to get clients, and all the things. So have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And if you liked it and want to reserve your very own free sales audit, go to HaileyRowe.com/strategy-call to book your very own free sales audit. On the call, we'll talk more about the common concerns you get from your ideal clients, how to overcome those concerns, how to coach through objections, how to change your mindset around sales, and improve your sales process so you can be closing and converting more clients. I can't wait to connect with you, and go to HaileyRowe.com/strategy-call to take the first step. Thanks so much. Have a good day.